The 1980s brought about an incredible revolution in special effects, leading to a surge of monster-laden movies that dominated the decade. Classics like John Carpenter's The Thing and David Cronenberg's The Fly have embedded themselves into film history forever. However, there are plenty of flicks from that era that deserve a little more shine than they get today, and some of those movies might be right up your twisted little alley. They certainly make this sicko very, very happy. I'm Drew Deitch, and this is Giant Freakin Robot's essential 1980s creature feature gems. Who doesn't like a Bigfoot movie? Well, if you can't stomach Sasquatch ripping people to pieces and doing other unsavory things that I am sure we have to censor, Night of the Demon might be too much for you. But the rest of us weirdos will find plenty to enjoy in this sleazy little piece of grindhouse fare. Though you'll have to trudge through a fair share of boring characters and camping scenes.
It was only a few miles back in there where my father was killed.
It's all worth it for a man-ape that looks like the lead singer of Metallica and some unforgettable gory kills that will make you think twice about another hike in the woods. The 80s let loose armies of tiny terrors thanks to the success of Gremlins. And Critters is the best of the bunch. Though many folks prefer the brighter and sillier sequel, which I do watch every Easter, Critters deserves a lot more appreciation on its own. The story of intergalactic piranha-like furballs laying siege to a family farm plays like the best kind of homage to classic 50s sci-fi, like Invaders from Mars. Add to the mix two shape-shifting bounty hunters tearing through the tiny town, and you have one of the most endearing and effective little gems of the entire decade. It's time to get some much-welcomed mad science into the mix with The Kindred, a pulpy tale about a doctor discovering the genetic experiments his mother has been undertaking with his own DNA. Yes, it's the old "my brother is a basement mutant" story. With the assistance of celebrated actors like Rod Steiger and Kim Hunter, The Kindred rises above a lot of other B-movies thanks to a solid script and some truly wild moments. I promise you'll never look at a watermelon the same way again. Yes, the other Gremlins ripoff franchise is also showing up here, but both Ghoulies and Ghoulies 2 are worth being seen as more than just derivative knockoffs. The first Ghoulies is a charmingly nasty little black magic lark with some truly standout moments like an incredible corpse resurrection. The Ghoulies themselves are always fun, but aren't as much of a focus in the original. So, if you want more Ghoulies in your Ghoulies movie, and who doesn't, Ghoulies 2 gives the teeny beasties the spotlight at a traveling carnival, and even adds a giant Ghoulie by the end. Let's see Citizen Kane pull that off.
What are you doing, Jonathan? I get it. I will leave you here to do whatever it is you're doing, and I will go upstairs and...
No, Becky. Wait! Come on, wait!
Much like Gremlins led to Critters and Ghoulies, Jaws led to an entire wave of animal attack movies in the late 70s that continued into the 80s. And Alligator is arguably the best of the bunch. With crisp direction by Louis Teague, a clever script by the iconic John Sayles, and a rock-solid lead performance by Robert Forster, Alligator is sharp, funny, and doesn't skimp on the giant gator goodness. If you've ever wanted to see a massive alligator chomp down on a bunch of rich folks, you just found your new favorite movie. Speaking of Jaws-inspired monster movies, Razorback gives Highlander director Russell McKay an enormous boar and the entire Australian outback to play in. Razorback might not be the best story ever told, but its visual flair and incredible production design make it a true standout in the subgenre of animal attack movies. It's like the best music video about a killer pig you could hope for. Look, let's just cut off the criticism right out the gate. The Fly 2 could never hope to match David Cronenberg's once-in-a-lifetime masterwork. And The Fly 2 knows that. Director Chris Wildest, the effects genius behind the first film, and Gremlins, can you tell I really like Gremlins? Decided the sequel should be more of an old-school monster movie, and it absolutely delights on that level. You'll still get plenty of goopy grossness in The Fly 2 and some unreal gore effects. Can we even show this? And the story is a simple but effective one that doesn't deserve to be buried simply because it's a good movie standing next to a great one. How about some other bugs to make you barf? Based on a paperback from hell by Gregory A. Douglas, The Nest turns everyone's least favorite creepy crawly, the cockroach, into a carnivorous cascade of creature feature carnage. Seriously, this is a nasty movie about meat-eating cockroaches, not for the squeamish. By the end of its running time, The Nest is doing a mutant cockroach riff on The Thing with a monster that's as kooky as it is unforgettable. This won't go down as great cinema, but it's an undeniable fun time for fans of the era. The Howling is a classic that stands on its own to this day. Howling 2 is a disaster piece that certainly has its bizarro charms. But Howling 3, also known as Howling 3: The Marsupials, is the one film in the franchise that's a real bonkers standout. A straight-up comedy set in Australia, Howling 3 showcases one of the most unique riffs on the lycanthrope, inspired by the extinct thylacine or Tasmanian wolf, and uses it to such absurd effect that it has to be seen to be believed.
Jesus.
If you want an outright farce for your viewing pleasure, Howling 3 will deliver. Peter Weller endeared himself to us all as Alex Murphy in Robocop.
I can feel them. But I can't remember them.
But Of Unknown Origin is one of his grimy gems that deserves way more attention. It's basically a riff on Jaws or Moby Dick, but with Weller going toe-to-toe with an invasive rat in his swanky home. It sounds ludicrous, I know, but Weller's performance is thrilling as his battle against the pest descends into madness. Coupled with skillful and stylish direction by George P. Cosmatos, who also directed Peter Weller in Leviathan, which you should also watch. I love that weird little movie. Of Unknown Origin is one of the 1980s true underrated horror gems. Did you finish The Nest a little while ago and wanted to make it a creepy crawly double feature? Then you gotta make time for Slugs. Another off-the-wall bloodbath comes courtesy of those slimy garden nuisances, and the heights of flesh shredding in Slugs will make any sicko smile. Of particular note for Slugs is director Juan Piquer Simon, most known for the infamous gonzo slasher Pieces, who also brings the same level of intense insanity to this enjoyable little skin crawler. Ugh, Slugs are so gross.
He wants worms. Say that minchione of sheriff che la vada a fanculo, altrimenti I give him un bel minchione right up in his culo. Relax.
Pumpkinhead might have enough notoriety at this point that calling it a gem feels undeserved, but considering it's the only movie in its franchise worth your time, it's starting to seem like Pumpkinhead isn't as prevalent in horror circles as he once was, and that's no good. Because Pumpkinhead, both the movie and the monster, entrance and terrify with the power of the best dark fairy tales. The gorgeous photography and simple story make this the kind of terror tale we should all be celebrating at least once every year when spooky season rolls around. Speaking of spooky, Spookies is a great example of watching a movie to learn about how movies are actually made. Very clearly, Spookies was one movie during its original production where a bunch of party people go to a spooky house and unleash a bunch of monsters. Then another bunch of footage was shot with a creepy zombie man and stuck on to try and make a full movie. So Spookies is admittedly a mess, but one you can learn from while still enjoying the amusing variety of creative monsters. From the Grim Reaper to a spider demon to some mudmen who just seem to keep farting. How can you not get a kick out of Spookies?
It was an electrical cord, you idiot.
Let's keep things fun and freaky with House, the 1985 Spookablast cult classic from the folks behind Friday the 13th. You've got a creepy house where almost anything seems to happen, from possessed swordfish to zombie soldiers. It's all happening in House. Really, the story here isn't going to blow your mind, but William Katt gets the Sam Raimi silly tone and makes House a real delight.
Hey, Raj. What you doing?
Add in some cartoonish but still freaky effects, and this is another easy watch for those looking for more laughs in their scares.
What are you digging?
Hole?
Oh? Oh. I used to come and swim here when your aunt lived here. I hope you don't think I'm imposing or anything.
Oh, no.
Bye.
I'll see you later, okay?
Okay. Oh, Roger.
All right, it's time for the last stretch, and as Frank Reynolds would say, we're gonna get weird with it.
I'm gonna get real weird with it.
Starting with Xtro, the anti-E.T. movie if there ever was one. Xtro involves a dad who gets abducted and returns years later to change his son and bring him along into his new alien existence. Along the way, you'll see one of the most demented aliens ever in movies. A birthing scene that makes the chestburster from Alien look tame, a hypno-clown, a toy soldier brought to life, and even more that makes Xtro maybe the nuttiest alien movie the 80s ever produced. This whole list could be made up of nothing but the incredible Hong Kong genre films being produced in the 1980s. Brain melters like The Boxer's Omen or The Ghost Snatchers are definitely flicks to hunt down. But if you want a great jumping in point, look no further than The Seventh Curse. The story involves a cursed man who must return to the wild to battle an evil sorcerer and his cult. Think of this like Indiana Jones, but way crazier, with kung fu skeletons and other fantastical beasties that will be forever branded upon your movie-watching memory. The Seventh Curse will open you up to a whole new world of WTF. To end this, I had to go out on what I will argue is the most effed up, twisted, who let them make this creature feature of the 1980s, Society. From director Brian Yuzna, one of the brains behind other 80s must-sees like Reanimator and From Beyond, Society tells the tale of a rich young boy who starts to suspect his family and the elite world they inhabit are not quite what they seem.
Yeah, right there, Dad. That's good.
Society goes to a level of shocking effects madness that has become legendary in horror movie circles. If you get to the end of Society, you will be rewarded with some of the most stomach-turning, goofiest, and creative creature effects the 1980s ever produced. If you really want to dive into the deepest end of the demented movie pool, Society is the one to watch. Let us know your monster movie gems in the comments and what you thought of our picks. And if you want some deeper dives into these movies, check out the Genre Vision and FinFlix podcasts, where we have full episodes on The Kindred, Alligator, Razorback, The Fly 2, Of Unknown Origin, Pumpkinhead, House, Xtro, and The Seventh Curse.
Come on, guys.
Give this video a like and subscribe to our channel to see more videos just like it. This is Drew Deach saying thanks for watching, and we'll see you again on Giant Freakin Robot.